good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Six Rings Kane Show on a new night, Monday night now, baby. We're really excited, actually, to have Eric McLean on the show here, college football analyst, co-host of The Huddle. Coach, yes! All right!
First touchdown of the year.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's the Six Ring Kane Show. Can't forget the name, yo. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. We report live from the Hall Ride Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the Six Ring champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards of hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the Six Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Hello, welcome to the Six Rings Kane Show. Joined by Melissa, DJ. How's it going?
Good, can't complain.
So Blue had a conflict and Mr. Santana is sick, so he might pop in later for a bit, but this is the crew you're getting tonight.
I'm trying to fill in. Usually basketball is my thing, but we'll roll.
Meanwhile, I'm getting roasted in the comments for the intro. You know what? Everyone's an armchair quarterback on that. Who's got to do the actual work? This guy. So you know what? Chill with that. That intro is still cool, even if it aged poorly.
It's kind of fun to look back at the memory.
It was cool in the moment that y'all got Frank Ponce on the show.
No, the whole intro is cool. It's just that, again, it did not – every clip is a horror story in hindsight. Yeah,
because I almost committed a recruiting violation.
That's what you don't know from that clip. He did commit Potts navigated around it.
Very beautifully. It didn't make me feel like a dumbass, I guess, for lack of a better term. So
you'll have to explain to me what happened off air later.
I will.
No, I mean, it's fine. He just asked about current recruits which the coaches aren't allowed to talk about.
Yeah, I learned that lesson quickly.
So he talked just high level, like, we're looking at kids or whatever.
No, he handled it very, very well.
It wouldn't have even been noticed if not for Blue and Jazz in the private chat. You can't
shaking their head like, oh no, I just blew it for the entire football program.
Yeah, it was seamless on air. Like the actual video, it's fine. The backroom seats were like, panicky. Oh no.
But hey, that's the beauty of live shows, right, folks? So
did you ask about a bunch of tight end recruits? Is that what happened?
No, I should have, but I asked about some quarterbacks, and Ponce definitely navigated that very well, and I learned my lesson. So there you go.
There you go.
Every day is a school day.
Yes, Canes today. I switched up the quote of the day real quick, all within like a minute and a half.
Yeah, and Jazz nowhere to be found on that. So
well,
shout out to Jazz.
I was under the impression he was going to be on the show.
I think he might show up depending on how he's feeling. I told him to pop in if he can make it.
Yeah.
He partied too hard.
We missed Jazz also.
That's TBD.
But I even wrote it in blue.
There you go. Oh, blue, yeah.
Yeah, so some nice Florida colors on your board back there. And as we transition,
nice shoe collection too. See, like I don't.
You haven't.
DJ hasn't seen the new setup.
DJ doesn't watch buckets. Is what we're discovering.
No, it's right when I'm.
DJ, you gotta catch the pod from last week. Me and Matt both have new setups.
We'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do.
Definitely catch the pod.
Yeah, and we spent way too much time on the box of crap today. We taste tested apple juice. Matt
showed off all his trophy
collection. So there
real off-season work we were doing.
And we briefly talked about the basketball teams, which are both traveling through Europe. So
maybe like the last 10 minutes.
It was more than that. It was like last 30.
Was it?
Because we started before Matt even left.
Oh, that is true. Me and you do know how to ramble.
I mean, we actually do know how to talk about basketball too. So
that too, but we do know how to ramble.
But there is another season that's about to start. There are games coming up.
We are 2 days into fall camp.
Yeah, we are into fall camp. And by the end of the month, it is go time. It is upon us.
Miami versus Miami is almost upon us.
Yeah, the Battle of Miami's.
The parentheses bowl.
I feel like we should not have to have a parentheses. Like they gotta specify Ohio, otherwise assume it's the real Miami.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know why we have to put Florida after ours. Like everyone knows.
Is Miami like an actual city in Ohio? Is it like actually a city? Or...
I want to say it's a river, but let me.
Is it?
Let me do some.
I actually don't know. I don't really follow Ohio geography.
The only thing I really know about Miami, Ohio, is that Ben Roethlisberger played there. That's it.
It is. It's in Oxford, Ohio.
Okay, so that makes zero sense.
So it's not in Miami. It's in the Miami Valley.
Okay, all right.
The Ohio River in the Miami Valley.
That's something, I guess, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, when people say Miami, no one's thinking Ohio, so they should have to parentheses. We should not. I think that those are the rules. You know what? How about this? Loser has to parentheses. Winner gets to keep them.
I tweeted this out weeks ago.
Let's see.
Canes today, tell your best friend not to go there.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, if he's got a full ride,
what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Maybe you should go there.
That's not the real. That's not the real Miami.
What the hell are you talking about? Why are you advising kids to not go to college?
Not to go to that college.
Don't get a full ride. Don't go.
Kansas City is in Kentucky. Ohio is a bordering state. I'm sure a lot of people from there actually go to Miami, Ohio. I'm not disparaging some. I don't know anything about that. We just had to look up if it was a city or like how the name came to be. So maybe we should hold off on the advising kids not to go there.
That's true. Don't listen to me.
Unless they're an ACC rival, then maybe we can advise.
I mean, look, we have more knowledge of other places. Like, don't go to Florida State. Like that, we can say definitively, right? I mean, that I'm comfortable with.
Or Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah, or Florida, or if you're gonna go to the
UCF.
state, if you're gonna be in the state of Florida, go to Miami.
Come to Miami.
Add SEC media days. I don't get that part.
I think you meant to say
We don't talk about the
at ACC Media Days, maybe?
Did Miami announce their? Yes, they did. It's Laz Gutierrez and the dude from the Red Sox. God, I'm spacing out his name. That happened several weeks ago.
I do, and we did this last week.
There are baseball shows on this feed where we went through the whole coaching staff.
Tim.
Oh God, this is like bad. This is why you need Jazz.
This
Monty, get your ass. Well, this is Jazz, man. This is his thing. He's the baseball guy.
Blue just has a memory like that. He can.
Darren Fenster. Jeez, I can't believe I forgot his name. Darren Fenster, Laz Gutierrez, and Brandon Brewer, who are the three assistant coaches. So, yep, we still need to bring more kids in. We only have 2 backup infielders. No, we didn't hire Alex Cora.
No, I don't think. I don't think he's going to leave Boston quite yet. But who knows?
And he's definitely not going to be JD's assistant coach. So
no.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking football tonight. So we're going to start with So last week the team was in Charlotte to do media rounds. They do the whole we're going to have a good year, blah blah blah. And everyone's like, wow, these kids are so well spoken. But the real news coming out of there is actually the media votes on who they think is going to suck. And that's what we're going to review now. Shout out to Daniel, always watching our show.
Thank you for joining.
Anthony Canes today, active in the chat. This Melissa person making fun of me. I don't know who this person is, but she's in the chat also.
Actually, I can join the chat too. Maybe.
I can't actually. I'll show up as 5 Reasons Sports. But anyway, I'm gonna do a little screen share, and then we're going to take a look at the ACC media predictions. I want to get your thoughts on it. Melissa, let's start with you. I'll zoom in so it shows up bigger while you're. I don't know if you've looked at this yet, but I'm
not mad. I'm not mad at it.
Okay, so for those listening, it's Clemson 1, Florida State 2, UNC 3, NC State 4, Miami 5, Duke and Pitt tied for 6, Louisville 8 because they're tied for 6, so 6 and 7. Wake Forest 9, Syracuse 10, Virginia Tech 11, Georgia Tech 12. Now, of note, first place votes: Clemson 103, FSU 67, North Carolina 5, NC State stuck in there with the first place vote. We are the highest ranked team without a first place vote. And if people are not aware, they did get rid of divisions. So last year they would have done a Coastal and Atlantic split. This time they're not. So top two teams
So
will
that
play the
would've-
ACC championship.
That would have put us second in the Coastal?
Yeah, we
At
would have been
the,
second in the Coastal. Yep.
behind UNC. I'm not mad at it. If anything, I think we're ranked too high considering how badly we sucked last year.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Like, what about this 5 rank? And I'll stop sharing because it's just static content. But this 5 ranking, too high, too low?
I mean, do I think we're going to improve from last season? Yeah, I think so. But I mean, I can't. It's hard to make predictions off of just paper, because every year we're hyped about one thing or another, and it's been 20 years of being disappointed. So,
well, I mean, here's one way to kind of look at it, and DJ, you can jump in here too as well. So the two teams directly behind us are Duke and Pitt, both of who blew us out at home last year. Do you think that
with our third string quarterback, or second string, and with half of the game with a second string quarterback, and Jakari playing the entire Pitt game?
So
I mean, I'm not making excuses for us, but we were playing the end of our rosters.
Right, but do you think we've made that kind of a leap? Because those games weren't really competitive, and neither was several of our games were not close. Do you think DJ, you can jump in here first. Do you think we made that type of leap where we are now essentially the media has determined we are better than those two teams that beat us pretty handily in Miami last year?
No. I mean, we still haven't played any games yet. We have a new offense that we need to install, and there are other variables that are going into play, such as can the freshmen develop at a high level? Can Tyler Van Dyke get back to what he was, in 2021, basically, because he had moments where he was really good, but he was never consistent. And so there's a lot of unknowns heading into this season based off of last season. So I don't disagree with the ranking at all. I think we're right where we need to be. And, we may end up being higher at the end of the year. Who knows? But we have to, prove it. We have to prove it. And, we can have, all the 4- and 5-star kids we want, but results have to be shown on the field.
Melissa?
I honestly, had we been higher, I'd be like, they're crazy, honestly. I mean, if anything, you could make a case for us being ranked lower, quite honestly. Because like you said, the teams that are right below us destroyed us last season. Again, we had a lot of injuries. We weren't playing a lot of starters, especially in the Pitt game. I think the team probably gave up.
That game was all sorts of problematic.
I mean, we were winning in the Duke game at one point, but Tyler went down, and it was kind of just. So I mean, I've said it a few times, other shows or whatnot. I'd rather the media and other people think that we suck, and then we get pleasantly surprised by a better team instead of all of the hype and then the letdown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the teams that are below us. Duke and Pitt kind of stood out because they pretty handily beat us last year, and then there's a big drop off from there to kind of Louisville, Wake, Syracuse, and then the 3 ACC teams we beat last year are 3 of the bottom 4.
And we play all of those top teams this season.
Well, we played Louisville.
No, coming up this season, we play all of the top 4.
Louisville at 8 is kind of insane. I don't know about that.
We don't have an easy ACC schedule based off of those rankings.
Yeah, actually, that's a good thing to look at. We do play Louisville. We play Boston College, who was 13th.
But no, we play Clemson, Florida State, NC State, and UNC. We play all of the top 4.
Yeah, and then we also get kind of some of the back.
We play Boston College in the end of November on a Friday at Boston College.
Yeah, but come on.
It's not going to be easy.
It should be.
If it's not easy, then the entire Miami football program should just disband. I'm sorry. Boston College is awful.
I mean, yeah, we're sitting here.
At least their uniforms look like FSU.
There's a reason Boston is a pro sports town, because Boston College doesn't do
He's
much.
just using his local knowledge to crap on Boston College.
Well deserved, honestly, well deserved.
Yeah, I don't.
Today, if the Canes finish 9-3, I would be like extremely happy and shocked, but extremely happy.
Well, so here's the schedule. Where's the I mean, 1 loss, 1, 2.
Basically,
3,
I'm assuming
4.
he's saying our 3 losses would probably be UNC, Florida State, and Clemson. That would be my guess. And then
and like you said, we also have NC State
NC State, which I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, 9-3. I'm predicting 7-5 or 8-4.
I would go 7-5, me personally, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I mean, this Texas A&M game is big because if you can start 4-0, and then you have a bye week before Georgia Tech.
He was talking about Louisville going 9-3.
I mean, look, I know Kane State's from Kentucky. We don't give a shit. So, where Louisville finishes. But for us, this is kind of our big game in September because there's a bye.
In my opinion, going into ACC play, we should be at worst 3-1.
I mean, we will be. Like, I know what happened at Middle Tennessee. It's not going to happen again. So we'll be
from your mouth to God's ears.
It's not going to happen again.
Well, let's hope nobody clips.
It is. DJ,
I'm clipping this at the end of the show.
It is not going to happen again.
We should put that in our new intro, just as a general statement.
You know what? Here.
It's not going to happen again.
Not going to happen again.
Hold up. Here, we'll do it this way.
Canes today. I mean, Boston College is at Boston College.
We are not going to lose to any of those crappy schools this year. We're not going to lose to Miami, Ohio, Temple, or Bethune-Cookman.
Okay. All right. Hello, Vish.
He even blew up his face for that one.
Canes today says, but Boston College is at Boston, and we struggle with them, and especially if it's a red bandana game. Miami has talent that should absolutely dwarf Boston College.
Our record against Boston College is obscenely one-sided. So I know there's this myth that we struggle with them. We historically have not.
I'm not saying we're struggling against Boston College. I'm saying we struggle in the cold.
Do we? We're hardly playing it.
2017 Pitt.
I don't even know what game. Is that the game you went to that we won?
No, that was the game where we were undefeated and looking for our college football right before the ACC championship game, and we lost to Pitt.
That's right. I remember that, yeah.
Oh, that game. I remember that game. Everyone remembers
that. And the
ACC
championship game was cold, too. But, I mean, Clemson.
I mean, there was no way.
We were.
But
I'm not sure what motivated me to go to that, but I was just so excited that
our record against Boston College is 24-6.
And I would expect that to be 25-6 by the end of November.
And honestly, most of the wins came.
We'll clip that also.
Like olds.
I mean, Doug Flutie has made a living off of and that Heisman season.
Yeah, and they've beaten us 3 times since that game.
I don't know. Maybe Boston College will pull off the upset. I don't know. Crazy things have happened.
They suck.
We'll see if it's considered an upset by the time we get to that game.
All right. Anyway, back to the so we'll go 3-1 or 4-0. Then we got a bye week, and then the ACC play Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. We should win
at home. We should win. So that's 3-4. That's 4 to 5 wins. Virginia's
North
terrible.
Carolina's a toss-up. Clemson, we're losing.
Yeah, Virginia's should be a win. That's 5 to 6 wins.
And I predict we score a touchdown in that game.
That is true.
NC State is a toss-up. FSU, I have us losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're sitting here.
Louisville, I think, is going to be harder than people think.
So we're 7. I think we're 7 to 8 wins. Looking at this,
I agree.
7-5. That's mine.
I think 7 wins is completely reasonable.
I think the A&M game is that one that's going to make the difference between 7 or 8.
I think the A&M game is going to be kind of a tone setter for the season.
I mean,
even if we lose, if we look good and we make it competitive.
No. You can't. You
We
can't.
did that last year, kind of. And
We didn't look good in that game last year. It was competitive because we both sucked.
We looked way. It wasn't even competitive. We were clearly the better team. We just couldn't score.
yeah, that was the first game where I was kind of like, is Josh Gaddis the guy?
Oh, that was the Josh Gaddis offense when we were really good between the 20 and the 20 and could do
that
anything
was
in the
like
we
last
could
year.
score.
Last year went through phases, right? We were moving the ball up and down the field for the first half of the season. We were like number 2 in the ACC in total offense. Couldn't score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Then once Van Dyke got injured, that's when the offense like completely imploded. So there were multiple phases. Everyone remembers the end year offense where we got like 90 yards against Clemson and couldn't move the ball. Actually, the first half of the year, we spent the first half of the year being like, if we could finish drives, we'd have one of the best offenses in the country, and it just unraveled.
That Texas A&M game was
but that A&M game, we dominated that and couldn't score.
Yep.
I know. But if you just look at the stats, if you just look at the stats box for that game, you would have thought Miami won.
Yeah. No, it was. We muffed that punt and gave them a touchdown. Like it was in a game where no one was really scoring. We handed them a touchdown. That kind of made the difference. But that A&M team is not good enough. There's no universe in which we play well against that team at home and lose. They're not good enough for that. Like if we lose, it's because we didn't play well. They're not that good.
Well, last year I remember. Go ahead.
What's up?
Are you going to that game?
Of course I'm going to that game. That's a personal game for me. You gotta whoop their ass.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, DJ. Sorry.
No, you're good. Last year, I just remember Devin Achane, the Texas A&M running back, who actually I think is with the Dolphins, I believe.
Yeah, he is.
Now, and he just set the tone for that Texas A&M offense the entire game. He just ran the ball, controlled the clock, and that was a frustrating loss, and that was kind of the game that I saw, in my opinion, that Josh Gaddis may struggle.
I had no issues with him after that game. We had so many drop passes. I mean, there was one where like Parrish could have walked into the end zone. He dropped it. Like it was a bad execution game, and the season just got progressively worse. But no, we got to win that game. Yes, I'm gonna be at the Miami Ohio game. I'm gonna stay that week in Miami and hit those two. I might invade
your tailgate because I don't know if my crew actually wants to go.
Isn't our tailgate just like the same tailgate? We're in the same parking lot.
Yeah, no, but I may not actually tailgate. Like I might just come to yours because I don't know that my crew actually wants to go to that game. So I might just tag along.
Yeah, no, whatever. Just come with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. You're small. We'll squeeze you in the car. No, yeah, just ride with us. We'll come from the same part of Miami too, so it's easy to pick you up. Yeah, no, but I'm
DJ, you come down for a game or no?
If you're paying for the flight, yeah. I mean, honestly, the game I could go to is that Boston College game, but sitting on aluminum bleachers the day after Thanksgiving is kind of a deal breaker for me, especially if it's to go see Boston College. I hate to crap on Boston
If they could have
College.
put that game at any other weekend, I would have gone.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Boston in the fall is beautiful. So even a semi-warmer fall day would have been nice for this game, but I mean,
hoodie weather.
Go ahead.
No, hoodie weather. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, exactly, hoodie weather. And I think at some point I'll go down to Miami. It's just about money and time. If I can get time off.
We gotta get a Six Ring Canes crew meetup.
I agree.
Get all of us in the same place.
I mean, we're playing Boston College every year now. I'm assuming. So next year Boston College will be in Miami. Then I'm assuming one of these.
Are they the third team?
Yes,
they are.
Yes,
okay.
Which I don't know why. I don't know why. Like,
well, Boston College makes more sense than Louisville. It makes more sense than Louisville.
Virginia Tech should have been the third.
No, Virginia Tech not being one of the three is insane. Boston College actually makes some sense.
I know, but that's not a good match. That's in theory not a good match.
Canes today is happy because he lives in Kentucky and he's a Canes fan, so now he can see Canes football in Louisville every other year.
Yes, who gets that Schnellenberger trophy.
We talked about that.
It should have been a pipe, not boots. It should have been a pipe.
Yeah, they can't promote smoking though.
I know. That's why Sebastian doesn't have a pipe anymore.
So anyway, the games I'll be at this year: Miami, Ohio, A&M, Temple, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Clemson.
Oh, you're going to Temple?
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half from here.
Okay. We're doing UNC.
Yeah, we're doing UNC. I told my friend who lives in that area I'd do NC State with them too, so I think I'm going to that.
Honestly, Vish, you should come up to Boston College. I know it's.
I'm not doing that Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving ain't happening.
But honestly, the Boston College game was the game I actually wanted to do, but they put it Thanksgiving weekend, and my mom would kill me if I wasn't home for Thanksgiving. So, plus me and my mom have a routine, and that's like my favorite part of the year is doing Thanksgiving with her. So,
I'm in DC, so it's just.
Yeah, DJ, you're in the Boston area.
He's
right?
in Boston.
I am. Yep.
Yeah, Vish in DC. Me and Jazz are both in Miami, and Larry and Blue is in Broward County.
Yeah, Larry.
Yeah, Larry. No, I don't know why I called him Larry. Blue.
Honestly, Vish, if we wanted to do a 6-ring Canes meetup, me and you are the closest, like, in terms of proximity.
I mean, we'll do it at either. It's going to be either in Miami or in Boston, right? I mean, it's going to be.
Well, Matt's in California, so he's like.
No, that's a whole other thing. But if he's just buckets anyway. So
yeah,
that would be a basketball.
I'm kind of sort of a utility person. I mean, Vish is the main utility guy, and then I'm sort of
utility. I just host everything.
Vish is the technological brains of this operation.
Wait, I forgot what I said. I was like, Vish is the IT guy that runs the show, and then Matt is the talent acquisition, and I'm the advertising for buckets anyway.
Well, and for other things that don't pay us, so we got to work on the advertising. Shout out to Caneswear, who has not sponsored the show.
Oh, wait, let's shout out. Wait, should we shout out our actual sponsor?
We should.
Yes, I had a plan for that, but if you want to interrupt it and go, we talked about.
Well, we were talking about advertising.
Well, we were talking pre-show about using that as a transition to start talking about practice and not to just randomly do it in the middle of this segment. So we'll hold off on that.
We mentioned advertising. Okay, so keep going. We'll talk about price picks in a few minutes.
We contrary to popular belief, this time we did a little show prep. Spent all of 20 seconds saying like, let's do this and this.
Rome wasn't built in a day, so.
This is what everyone's thinking right now.
Yeah. Well,
I bet. Yeah, they're probably like, oh.
People logged in and they're like, wait, Blue's not here.
But anyway, yeah, I'm going to way too many games this year, so let's see how this.
That's cool, though. I mean, you had a great year with the basketball too. You traveled all over for basketball. You're going to a lot of football games this year. It's gonna be fun. Yeah,
that like the Georgia Tech one. It's because I'm in town. I'm gonna do that zoo run, the 10K again. So I'm in Miami that weekend. So I'm gonna go to the football game that week. That's awesome. That is why I'm going to Georgia Tech. It was like, I really got to see this game, but I'm in town, so I'll definitely go to that. And then, I'm doing 3 road games. Hopefully. And I'm actually on the fence on coming to the Clemson game. I think I'm going to because it's Clemson. And we don't play them at home that often, but.
Oh, you should come to the Clemson tailgate just because Coop is going to race Lance Leggett in a 40-yard dash.
Man, I'll tell you what, man. Lance Leggett's not allowed around here. DJ knows why.
I do know why.
Lance Leggett is not allowed around here. We will not speak of Lance
Leggett.
Wait,
I know why too. Actually,
I told you why. I
know the story.
I told you why, but DJ experienced it. DJ experienced the. Well, let's just say when I unslept for like 3 weeks and I was cussing too much on buckets, this does nothing compared to what Lance Leggett brought to this program.
Yes, wow. It was quite a show.
It was curse word, peanuts. Curse word, peanuts. That's what it was.
Oh, man.
I mean, you got to rep the brand football somehow.
I mean, it was something else, man. And I cussed a ton, and I was like, "What is happening here?"
But you know what? I mean, we definitely learned some things.
Yes, we did. We learned some things.
Anyways, should we discuss media days?
We did a little bit, but there's the other. I guess the other thing. Well, the other thing that came out of media days was the All ACC team. So we have 3 players on the All ACC team: Javion Cohen, Cam Kitchens, and Borgalis.
Honestly, I love that the kicker's getting some love, and he definitely deserves it. He's been a fantastic kicker for Miami. And, Kitchens is an absolute monster. I can't wait to see what he does this year. He's, been the defensive MVP for the Hurricanes, quite honestly. Especially last year, he played really well. So,
let's talk about him a little bit because he was obviously amazing last year. First team All-America is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right?
As a sophomore.
How much does he have to live up to?
I think it's the first time in school history that an All-American came back
Yeah.
for another season.
So how much pressure is he under to like replicate what was one of the better seasons in school history, frankly, on a team that was obviously awful, but he was not. He was amazing. Like how much like pressure is he under to replicate that kind of performance this year? Because he's first team everything. He's gonna be. I mean, he was an All-American for the whole country. Of course, he's gonna be first team All ACC preseason. Like how much is he under? It's a new system, right? How much is he like? What do you think he's got to do here to kind of live up to the standard? Because I mean, his jersey and his honors are hanging in the practice facility, and he's still playing here. Like Melissa said, this is bizarre. Because most of the time you don't win those awards when you're that young, and then come back to college and like his jersey is like his numbers in the rafters.
Yeah.
DJ, you want to take that first?
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is obviously some pressure because, like you said, he has a lot to live up to and a lot of expectations. But I think also, the game comes so naturally to him in terms of physically and his instincts and his aggressiveness and the way he plays the game, himself. That I think it'll happen. It'll happen. He'll have another good year. I'm not sure if he'll be able to replicate what he did last year, but he's not going to be, a stiff. He's going to play at a high level. And I think as long as he doesn't, do something crazy, like completely disappear and not make an impact, then I think he'll be just fine. I mean, he is truly a tremendous talent. And, we talked a lot about the difficulties that Miami had last season. I think when we were talking about the difficulties, especially the national media, they kind of glanced a little bit, at least in the early stages, glanced over what Cam Kitchens was doing, and obviously he got his due at the end. But I'm excited to see what he can do this year. I'm not going to say he's going to replicate what he did last year because it was such a fantastic season, but I do expect him to have success at some, to some degree.
I don't expect him to completely replicate what he did last season, mainly because I think we have a lot more athletes and a lot more just players in general that I think are going to be able to help him. So I think there's more pressure on the defense as a whole to help us win games than there is pressure on just Cam Kitchens to replicate his All-American season. Because he even said it. He was like, I'd being an All-American and being 5-7 doesn't say much. He'd rather go 12-0. But I don't know that he's going to have to do as much. Because I think we're just going to have more bodies on defense. I think our defensive line is going to be better, getting to the QBs more. So do I think he can replicate that? He could, but I don't think he's going to have to.
Yep. And also, I think when you have players that can complement each other well, a defensive line that can get, to the quarterback, edge rushers that can get to the pass rusher, it makes life easier for the other positions like the corners and the safeties and things like that. So I think he'll have a chance to let the plays come to him and get his opportunities that way through the production of others, which will be awesome to see instead of him just kind of doing it by himself.
And then I guess the other kid we have, Javion Cohen. Are you surprised he made the because there's only one team. It's not like they do first, second, and third on the preseason stuff. Given that he has not played a snap in the ACC.
Well, he was playing in the SEC, which is a better football.
Yes, he came from Alabama and he was starting there. I understand that, but
yeah.
It is a little bit of a homer career.
Honestly, I'm more surprised considering that Matt Lee was like the highest graded center after last season. I was surprised not to see his name on that list, even maybe more so than Javion Cohen.
So the center they went with was Brian Hudson from Louisville. I don't know anything about him.
I'm not familiar. It's just that from what I've read about Matt Lee. But I mean, again, preseason stuff is preseason stuff. I'd rather them be on the postseason stuff because they had a good season. But we all know Borregales is a great kicker. He won us the Virginia game for us last year. Just like his.
Y'all keep referencing that. I experienced that. I sat through that damn game.
I don't know how you sat through that.
It was painful.
Yes, it was. It was very painful.
It was painful. No, but Borregales, I mean. It's after years and years of having poor field goal kickers, Bubba Baxter. it's nice to like when we're in like field goal range to like you see the kicker come on and you don't really. I mean, he's obviously nobody's perfect. He may miss a few here and there, but like
I mean, his brother
it's nice
was.
to be confident. I'll be more interested to see how our punting game goes without Lou Headley, but I'm not really worried about Borregales.
No, I'm not either, and it makes a huge difference to have a consistent special teams unit, and it's truly an underrated part of the game. I feel like special teams gets overlooked a lot by the casual fan, but having stability at the kicker position is extremely important. I mean, like we just said, look at the Virginia game. So, I think I'm excited to see what Borregales does this year, and as long as he stays consistent, Miami's pretty solid once again at the position.
Canes today knows what I'm referring to. I remember that.
Yep, we lost to Georgia Tech because we couldn't make 20-yard field goals.
Yeah.
All right, but we don't speak of the main Diaz era in here. So let's do some price picks before we talk about practice has started. So we're going to talk about that. But PrizePicks.com, the offer code is 5. That is FIVE, the word 5 spelled out. Pretty simple to play. Pick 2 to 6 players. Bet over under on the number there. And if you hit all of it, you get paid out. The more you include, the higher the payout is. And if you sign up today and enter the offer code 5, that's FIVE, and deposit up to $100, that deposit will be matched. So that's PrizePicks.com, offer code 5. That is FIVE. All right, transitioning to the kids have taken the field. So we talked about last week, they did the media rounds. Now the pads are on. Are the pads on? Or are they doing no pads? Pads are on.
No,
right?
I don't. I think it's no pads.
No pads. The pads are going to be
right?
on.
Don't they ease into it? I could be wrong.
In any event, pads are imminent. I guess I'll start with you, Melissa. So what? It's been 2 days of practice so far. What has kind of stood out to you, or what are your takeaways? I know you also listened to the press conference afterwards, so you can comment on that.
I mean,
as well.
I mostly was just watching the pressers. I haven't really seen a lot on what the players have done. It's just mainly like what people have been talking, like what players have been talking about other players, and what Coach Cristobal said about what he's expecting and all of these things. I love listening to Kevin Beard. I think he was like our best offseason hire. Just listening to talk about how he relates to the wide receivers and what they're doing in practice and what he expects from certain guys. Like, I seriously, getting him to Miami is, I'm going to say it right now, was our best offseason move. Besides getting rid of Gaddis. But getting Kevin Beard to Miami it's going to do wonders for our receivers. I'm just calling it right now.
And I think on the subject of receivers, just the depth that Miami has at the position right now. You have, Colby Young, obviously, who had a big year last year and really kind of became Tyler Van Dyke's favorite target. Then you have a guy like, Ray Joseph, who is coming into the program, who could make an impact in short order. You have Robbie Washington. You have all these players, who can step up and make an impact and finally bring depth to the position that we have been missing for quite some time. I mean, we saw when Restrepo, for example, went down last year, how the depth kind of suffered in, certain spots. And now we're beginning to see some of the highly touted younger wide receivers, as well as the veterans, step up and, make their presence known during the early stages of camp here.
Yeah, I also liked when he was talking about how, I forget which receiver he was talking about, but like catching the ball with his hands more instead of with his body, and that allows you to like make a football move quicker. There was one interview, I was watching the Akeem Mesidor interview earlier today, and they asked him about Ruben Bain, and Mesidor could not have smiled any bigger than he did when they asked him about Bain. I guess he's kind of like taking him under his wing, and he said that Bain was on him in practice early because I guess Mesidor had a slow start today, so Bain was like all over him, like, "Yo, let's go." But I love seeing some of the vet guys who are some of our really, really good players kind of taking this class under their wing, because this class that's coming in, that they're going to be the standard for recruiting classes to come in the Mario Cristobal era. So I loved hearing that.
And you talk about the newcomers that Miami has brought in, also the newcomers on the coaching staff. I was reading some comments from Tyler Van Dyke earlier this week, and he was talking about, the new offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson, and he said that, this offensive system gives the quarterback, the opportunity to change run plays to pass plays, pass to run, and it gives receivers, routes based on what, the defense brings to the table. So, and he said, it gives the quarterback a lot of freedom. And I think that will help Van Dyke as well, combined with the new faces as well as the veterans, like I said, at wide receiver. I mean, I think the fact that we have this wide receiver depth as well as a system that benefits the quarterback, whereas at times I didn't think Josh Gaddis did last year, I think that will make a world of difference as well.
Well, I think if you, not to alarm anyone, but if you rewind a year and listen to how Tyler Van Dyke was talking about the Frank Ponce, Josh Gaddis combination, I don't think it's much different than the comments he's making now. So we'll see when they hit the field.
I think there's only so much they can say.
No, yeah. I know, but I'm not reading into.
You can see based on offensive style where this would be more favorable to the quarterback.
Especially, right, but every time a new coach comes in, especially the quarterback, is like, oh yeah, this fits me like a glove. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened. And he did it last year too. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Just in terms of, we'll see when they actually take the field, right? I mean, it can't be much worse than the way last year ended.
Considering it's an air raid, I kind of agree with Van Dyke. Even if he said it last year,
it's an air raid with us using a bunch of running backs and tight ends. So it's going to be some kind of amalgamation of different things, right? It's not just going to be winging it everywhere. Because again,
the running back room intrigues me a lot.
Yeah, and Van Dyke specifically was talking about how Mark Fletcher's a beast, right? And so and where's he even on the depth chart at this point? So you're talking about we're going to want to run the ball a lot because we want to get the ball into those players' hands. Yeah. And then as DJ and I can't believe I have to be the one to say this, but our tight end room is loaded also. Yes. And so
with Arroyo coming back from injury, and then you got Jaleel with a year under his belt, and then Riley Williams and Jackson Carver.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some talent in that tight end room. It's actually, and Elijah Arroyo is a beast. I'm assuming he's fully healthy to start the season. I am so excited to see what he does.
Right. So you got all these weapons that aren't receivers. The traditional air raid is really a lot of just chucking the ball to receivers, getting it out into the flats quickly. So it's going to be some kind of, we'll see what it looks like when it comes out there. Canes Day mentioning Melissa and my boy Emery Williams after we hung out with him at the baseball game.
We hung out with Emery Williams and Jackson Carver.
Jackson Carver, yes.
Yeah. There's been a lot in the press about how good Emery's looking and how quickly he's taking to everything in college football, and everyone's calling him like the next Ken Dorsey, which, I mean, I like to go easy on the comparisons. Ken Dorsey was also throwing to like NFL All-Pro receivers back then. Hopefully Kevin Beard can turn our receiver room into that. I mean, that's a great compliment for Emery. But I mean, he made the Elite 11 finals. So I think people are kind of underestimating how good Emery Williams is.
Making the Elite 11 finals is not easy by any means.
It's not easy. Everyone's like, oh, he's only a 3-star. I mean, he made the Elite 11 finals. Yeah. So listen, I'm excited for Emery. He seems like a smart kid. When I've seen interviews from him, like he studies the game.
But let's. So here's the thing, right?
But again, you have to see him actually play.
But the other thing I'll say is, I would say probably every single quarterback that has come through the school after Ken Dorsey had a better arm than Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey had a lot of talent around him. It's
not that. That was part of it for sure. Those teams were loaded. Obviously, we're talking about the best teams in college football history. It's also, it's not surprising that he's an offensive coordinator now, because he would call half the plays at the line of scrimmage. Every time he audibled, you're like, we're going to score a touchdown now.
He was a brain.
Right.
And Dorsey
he actually played IQ. And he actually played a little in the NFL with a noodle arm because of that. Like he got snaps for the 49ers and stuff. Like
and the Browns, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and the Browns as well. And he couldn't really throw, certainly not at an NFL level. And that's because that's what it's college. The arm talent's not as important as being able to get the ball to the right person at the right time. Because frankly, like the defenses aren't that good.
Honestly, unless it's like this elite 5-star QB, how often do you hear about true freshman quarterbacks in fall camp and stuff? Like Emery's getting talked about a lot, considering he's probably going to redshirt this year.
He's
So
getting
I
talked.
just find that interesting.
He's getting talked about a lot because he's doing really well. So yeah. That's,
You
but
don't usually hear about that.
well, we also don't have depth.
That is also true. I'm not.
The
That's
reason,
true.
a lot of reason you don't hear about a lot of true like freshman quarterbacks is because they don't get reps.
That's
They're
true.
coming in
That
like
is true.
fourth or fifth on the depth chart. So
But still, it's nice to hear.
no, it's good.
Nice to hear that
No,
he's-
it's good because you could also basically we were gonna hear about him because he's getting a lot more snaps than a freshman normally does.
Mhm.
But we're hearing good things because he's playing well. Otherwise, we'd be hearing bad things like, I can't believe Miami took this kid. We've heard that come out of practice before too, right? We're going to hear something, but he's playing really well. He's playing at a high level. I'm not entirely sure he's going to redshirt, to be honest, because we only have 3 quarterbacks. So you're going to want to get them.
Assuming everyone stays healthy, why wouldn't he?
Well, you're going to want to get them action. Because
I mean,
you can play in 4 games and still redshirt.
right.
Yeah.
Well, the reason you want to get him some reps this year is he's very possibly it's going to be him or Jakari starting next year. So you don't want that to be his first snap, like the first game next year. So
Yeah.
and again, I keep going back to this with,
and that's another interesting debate.
Totally different styles.
Yeah,
Totally different style of quarterback. So yeah,
very different.
that will be very interesting to see.
I don't think I'll be honest. I don't think he needs to go to wide receiver. He's got a good arm. Again, it's a completely different type of quarterback, and if we are really going to an offense that does not emphasize the quarterback's athleticism, frankly, Jakari Brown should transfer.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I didn't want to say it, but
because there are a lot of schools where he would be an elite quarterback, and depending on the system, like if we, before Gaddis, we obviously had Rhett Lashley here. If we put Jakari Brown the same offense that King was running, he would be a much better fit than Van Dyke or Emory Williams. So
100%.
so it's about fit, and it looks like we're going more in the the pass happy away from the quarterback running stuff. If we're doing that, we're probably not the right school for him anymore. But he's going to compete, and we'll see what he does because he can always improve his passing too. And you can't coach what he does with the ball.
You can't coach his athleticism.
Yeah,
like you can't teach that. Yeah.
So there's all sorts of stuff he's going to bring to the table that no one else is going to. So if he can get his passing up to the level, it's not out of the question that he's the starter next year. So I'm certainly not giving up on him.
And he got a lot of experience last season. I mean, I know we threw him to the fire, but it's all learning experiences and tape that he can go back and look at.
And he played really well against Georgia Tech. Then did not play well against Clemson.
Well, we knew that was going to happen. Clemson and Georgia Tech are two.
Yeah, but we didn't even get 100 yards in that game. So, there was last year was very.
Listen, this was a kid who expected to be on the bench with a clipboard in a headset the entire year. So.
Yeah, and again, it's a different offense now. So
yeah,
I think people also overreacted to the spring game with him in a game where you're not allowed to run as the quarterback, and that's like his main thing. Like, what's he gonna do? Like, he's not gonna win like a passing competition, just stationary throwing like at bullseyes, right? That's not his game. Right. So when you take the ability of the quarterback to run away from him, it's not a setup for him.
Agreed, for sure.
All right, so one other player I wanted to talk about. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead if you have a question.
Oh, finish.
No, go for it.
No, I was gonna say, what position group are you looking forward to the most to see improvement in?
Well,
what position group do you
well,
think
let me throw this out there and see if it overlaps with your answers. So one of the other big topics of discussion has been James Williams, and
his interview was very interesting.
Yeah, he's basically. I mean, first it was he's going to be playing multiple positions. Then it's kind of like settled into he's going to be a linebacker. So first of all, where do you see him playing? Do you like the idea of him playing as a linebacker, which is probably one of our weaker positions, and we do have more depth at safety? Or where do you see him fitting? Where do you see him settling? And what do you think he's?
Well, I mean, how many seasons has it been where people have said, "Oh, they should move James to linebacker"? I swear I've heard this for like 2 years.
I mean, we've certainly been saying it, especially when it was him, and it was Avonte Williams, and it was Kinchins. You're like, those are 3 guys that should be able to start. James Williams is the only one that could potentially play in the box. I think that's what drove a lot of it. This time, it's coming from inside the house.
I mean, from what I've read and heard, it sounds like they're gonna try him at linebacker, but it's not necessarily gonna be an every down thing. It sounds like they're gonna play him kind of all over the field. And from the interview James Williams did, I don't remember if it was today or yesterday. He said that he's willing to do whatever it takes, whatever Coach Guidry wants, which kind of is a change in tone from the past. Because from what I understood, he was pretty set on playing safety up until like even last season. He was like, "Yeah, no, I only want to play safety."
And I think, like you guys talked about the depth at the safety position, and he has natural athleticism. It's not like his skills limit him to just one position or box him in to just safety. He has the athleticism to possibly play the linebacker position as well. So I think given the depth at safety and, like Melissa just mentioned, given the fact that he wants to help the defense in any way that he can, I think at least trying him at linebacker and seeing what results come of it would not be a bad idea at all.
Right. I
mean,
think the other part of that is Brian Ballum is very talented as well, so that gets him on the field as the second safety next to Kitchens, and if you move Williams up into the box.
I mean, linebacker was one of our weakest positions last year. It's definitely improved when we brought in Kiko from Washington State. Having him in Basaint is going to be a nice little 1-2 punch at linebacker, but James Williams as well. I mean, that's quite the trio with them. I mean, I think the linebacker room's significantly upgraded.
Yeah, no, it is. I think James Williams is just another option there that can get. There's a lot of bodies at linebacker. Like we haven't even really talked about. Corey Flagg led the team in tackles last year.
I think he was taking reps with the twos though.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the interesting thing, right? So he's been productive, but not necessarily, someone you would say, oh, we want to see him starting.
Right.
The linebacker position is interesting. Like I said, we have a lot. It's a deep from numbers standpoint, a lot of youth there, and then a lot of players that haven't.
I mean, we've brought our incoming class brought in a lot of talent. The 2023 kids.
So James Williams potentially could be like a stopgap there of someone that can plug in at times and kind of help that group out with a little bit more
with his athleticism and everything. I mean, you could throw him in at linebacker for some plays. You could throw him in at safety. I mean, that and honestly, that can only help him when he decides to go to the NFL. If, watch his film and be like, hey, look, I can play safety. Hey, look, I can also play linebacker. That's only going to make his stock rise, assuming he plays it well.
Yeah, and especially with a lot of teams, when if he can cover the slot, that then you can leave him on the field as a linebacker and also, playing
get some of our other guys in for sure.
Okay, let's answer Melissa's question. Sorry, DJ, if you want to jump in.
No, I was just going to say linebackers in today's NFL, for example, coaches and defensive coordinators are looking for versatility and the ability to cover, kind of like you guys said, in the slot. So, I think that could, benefit him, moving forward if he continues to improve on that coverage element as well.
I mean, he would be a beast at linebacker. I mean, it's been said for a while now, so I'm excited that he's willing to try it. Because like I said before, from everything I had heard up until this season, he was set on only playing safety. So kudos to, I'm assuming that's Coach Guidry getting in his ear and being like, hey, look, this is what we can do, and kind of going from there.
I think that's part of it. The other part is,
or D Nick or whoever. Yeah.
I think some of it is, man, last year was embarrassing.
Exactly.
You're a lot more open to suggestions when you did that for 12 games.
Yeah, for sure. And he's fully healthy too. He got his shoulder fixed. Like he said, he's feeling like the best he's felt, 100%. So I'm expecting a lot from him just because he's had a lot of expectations on him, and now he's saying he's fully healthy because he was playing with that shoulder injury like the entire season. So, and even Cam said it that he thinks he could be an All-American this year. So that's high praise.
Well, we'll see about that.
We'll see about that.
That's putting quite a bit on James Williams in terms of a productivity jump.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's answer Melissa's question. So, Melissa, I'll throw it back to you initially. Which position group are you most, I guess, how'd you phrase this, most excited for? Think it needs to make the biggest leap or could make the biggest leap?
I'm gonna say the same answer I said on a pod I did a couple of days ago, and I'm gonna say the corners, the DBs. And I mainly said that because I'm kind of excited to see what Coach Adai does after getting DJ Ivey and Tyreek Stevenson into the NFL. I don't know that he's talked about enough, and what he was able to do with them. Like, I wouldn't have thought that DJ was gonna be an NFL draft pick. I mean, that's just my opinion. I know we got burnt a lot on some plays last year, and our defense wasn't great, but Tyreek Stevenson apparently is balling out in Bears camp. So I'm excited to see what we do with the corners and the safeties and what Coach Adai does in his third year. And he's doing a good job. So I hope no one steals him to be a defensive coordinator soon.
DJ?
For me, I would have to say the running backs, probably because, Henry Parrish carried a lot of the load last year, quite literally. And I think having a guy like Mark Fletcher, for example, will allow for depth at the running back position. Whether or not we utilize the running backs a ton is another story, but I do like the idea of at least having a capable running back room full of not just depth, but talented depth to help get the job done if needed. I'll be curious to see exactly where they fit into this offense, but they'll definitely fit somewhere.
Yeah, that's
DJ,
a good.
Who do you think is RB1 to start the season?
Ooh.
Assuming there's no setbacks or injuries during fall camp, who do you think is RB1 to start the season?
Parrish, but
you think Parrish?
Yeah, but that could change very quickly. That's a tough question.
That's not who I would have said. That's not who I would have said.
That's not who I would have said either.
I would have said my boy Chaney.
I would have gone with Chaney as well.
If Chaney is healthy, I think he is our most talented running back.
I don't think there's a close second, to be honest. He is. I think people forget how good he is.
He's just been injured, but Chaney is a beast.
But to DJ's overall point, I mean, a large part of last year we were getting significant carries to a walk-on at running back.
Lucius.
Who did full credit to the kid, did a great job for us.
Yeah.
But man, if you're doing that, something has gone wrong. And something had gone wrong, right? We had so many injuries.
And we should have a better O-line this year too.
Yeah. That was going to be my answer, which is offensive line to your question.
Yeah.
We've upgraded the center. We got Javion Cohen there. Zion Nelson should actually play. Like, to me, this is.
Should he? Is he?
I mean, at some point he's got to lace him up, right?
I'm not hearing the greatest of news about his knee.
Well, either that or he's going to retire. But I think at this point, I don't know that there's necessarily another year for him to do anything here. But
name your starting five on the O-line to start the season.
Oh man, you're making me do this from memory without the roster in front of me. Let's see. So it's Matt Lee and Javion Cohen for sure.
So Javion at left guard, Matt at center.
Yeah, I gotta look at the names because I'm gonna F this up. I think
Malagoa probably.
I don't think we're gonna necessarily start up fresh.
You start CC at right tackle. He was with the ones during the spring.
Who was that?
CC Francis.
I
could see him starting at right tackle.
I don't know if we'll start a freshman. I think. Oh man, this is a tough one.
Because there's a couple of guys people forget about because they were injured. Zion was out most of the season.
Zion was
McCoy was out.
Yeah, I'm looking through this. What's the stats of like Inez Cooper?
I think is he
okay
participating
now?
in camp? Yeah.
So I mean, like, there's Jalen Rivers. I think was injured, right? But he's back now.
Yeah. Want me to tell you what I think? You want to know what I think?
Sure. You go ahead. You go ahead and give it to us.
I haven't seen a lot of McCoy, so it's hard for me to put him in my starting five because I don't know a lot about him, and I don't think Zion's going to be ready to start the season. So I'm going to roll with Rivers at left tackle, Javion at left guard, Lee at center, Coop at right guard, and Francis at right tackle.
Yeah, honestly, that would be my group.
I just don't know that we're going to start a freshman out there.
Who do we put there instead? McCoy?
I think so.
I don't think Zion's going to be ready to start. That's my opinion.
I mean, that's the big thing. If Zion's playing, that's Rivers, right, at right tackle.
And then you put Zion at left.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, maybe Coop doesn't start, and I'm like, there's no way you don't have Inez Cooper at right guard.
No, I think
Dude balled out last season.
Yeah, but the upgrades are really at center and left guard.
Yeah,
massive upgrades there.
And Tyler and Matt were both saying that they hang out with each other outside of football and stuff, and they've got a good bond. So that's what you want to hear.
Yeah. Well, I hate to keep doing this, but him and Restrepo were like last year. Like, remember, it was like, oh, they got the chemistry, and then we couldn't score.
I mean,
well, they were both injured.
Fair.
But
Restrepo didn't play half the season, and neither did Tyler. So I don't know what.
It's hard to find chemistry when you're injured.
We weren't scoring when they were playing, and it's always the it's always the again. You hear the same crap in the offseason every year. So let's
Tyler had like what 0.5 seconds to throw the ball. I mean, honestly,
all I know is the one time we could have. The one drive we scored on against FSU, he had Restrepo wide open for a touchdown, just missed the throw. The fact that was the only chance we had to really score is
wasn't the FSU game where one of our offensive linemen got hurt during warmups?
I don't know. I was inebriated. I don't know.
And Tyler was hurt. Tyler was hurt.
That was
in the first quarter anyway.
That was a rough night for me. Yeah, this was before that. Yeah, but I think it was the second quarter where he hurt his arm.
He was already hurt. He played
the game hurt. And then he got banged up, then came back in, and then like threw a pass and just like walked off. Yeah.
It was honestly a good night to be inebriated, Vish, because wasn't much excitement otherwise.
I had to. But
Haynes today we play FSU. Oh, I think Haynes today is joking.
Yeah, he's joking.
I was like, we play FSU every year, but I think he's being sarcastic.
Yeah, and he's being sarcastic. Yes, unfortunately, when you work in media like we do, when you're drunk during the game and that game goes like that, that means you get to rewatch the damn thing.
Yeah.
So you can comment on the Monday show, which means my Sunday involved a hungover watching us get blown out by FSU. So I would have rather been sober, just experience that.
I had to go to work. I had to go to work that Sunday. So I had to go to work hungover and really, really sad.
Yeah,
that's a terrible combination. I've done that plenty of times.
I
was doing my coworker a favor. I generally don't work after the FSU game, so I can recover. But I was saving her a vacation day, so I told her I'm never doing that again.
My coworkers to stuff it in their hat. Let's just say.
I like my coworker, although we never work together because we work opposite schedules. But she's good peeps, and I trained her, so.
Yeah, we just had like people I hadn't seen. I mean, I overdid it pretty heavily. I had a media credential too. Needless to say, I used my ticket when sat in my seat. So I theoretically could have like gone into the press box like that. Would not have been a good time. No one on our network would ever get credentialed again.
I guess Jazz isn't showing up tonight, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. He is very much under the weather, so
that happened to you, Vish. Me and Matt had to do a show without you. I mean, you were in the back
growing up. You told us or something.
Yeah,
that was.
It was a pod that we had Julian Gamble on, and Vish was like he was like gonna have to like get off camera every like 5 minutes, so me and Matt had to run it. But it was good because now we've done all 3 combos.
I did produce the show though.
He did produce the show.
I played
none of us
Hurt.
have access.
I played Hurt.
No, it was good. It's nice. But this show and Buckets, we both have good crews where if one of us is down, we can keep it going and
yes.
And then I just come on when you guys are down 2 football people.
You can always come on whenever we're not.
Exactly.
I know I'm always invited, but we don't need 5 people. We don't need 5 people on this show. That's a lot of people talking at once.
It is.
I agree. I mean, that's fair. I mean. But you're always invited. You never have to.
Oh yeah.
Either
well, this time in the pregame before Buckets, when we were opening the stream up, I was like, "Please show up."
Yeah, he's like, there's like.
I was like, "You're coming, right?"
Everyone's not here, please.
Have we ever had to do a?
Generally, we have to do the Buckets pod around my work schedule. So like, I'd say like 7 or 8 times out of 10, you guys do this show on a night that I'm working. You just happen to do it on the same night as the Bucket pod, so I'm off.
Vish, I remember me and you. On Monday, so. Me and you did the middle after the middle.
Oh yeah, no, that one we did by ourselves.
And Jazz like popped in because he was in the press room or whatever, and I just remember like that was interesting one.
DJ and I co-hosted the Middle Tennessee State postgame show.
which we vented and were
Yeah,
uncensored and uncut.
That was boy, when Melissa types, the whole world hears.
Sorry. I was trying to answer Kane's today without interrupting you guys. I got to remember to mute when I'm typing.
You could just interrupt us. We're casual over here.
No.
Yeah, clearly we've had enough show prep for today, and we've moved on to the casual.
Hey, that 30 seconds we did before the show started was more than we normally do.
Yeah.
Well, I was answering Kane's today because he asked if we do a baseball
I know, I saw
show,
it. I was gonna
and I
verbally
just
address
said,
it, but then
I was like,
saw
Jazz
you
and
type-
Vish, you do a baseball show on this channel, but usually just during the season. Who knows? Maybe I'll pop into that because I've always followed Kane's baseball, but not as much as I do now, thanks to Jazz and Vish. So
I mean, Jazz is like a celebrity at these games. He knows everyone. He's like, hey, I'm gonna go talk to. They all have nicknames.
yeah.
It's like the local baseball in Miami is very much like a inside game, and Jazz is part of that community. So
Yeah.
because he played high school, junior ball, all that stuff in Miami. So
I hope he gets better soon, man.
yeah, no, he'll be fine by next week. He was actually saying he might pop in, but I think he just decided against it. So he'll be fine by next week.
Hopefully
He
has
realized I was
consistency,
doing
but-
such a great job filling in for him in blue that he was like, I'll just.
I think if he knew
I'll-
you were here, he would have popped in just to restore order a little bit.
I'm glad
Restore order.
glad you came, Melissa, because me and Vish, like, I love Vish, but I don't know if I could like do just a me and Vish show.
We've definitely done shows.
We've
by
done
ourselves
them,
before.
but they haven't been through
No,
to me.
literally, Vish said he's like, I need someone that's gonna come on here and talk a lot.
Yeah.
I know you need to fill blues.
And I'm good at doing that. If anyone's seen other pods that I've been on, I'm very good at talking. So
Yeah, but I guess for next week, we should have the full crew back. Melissa, of course, is always welcome as well.
Yeah.
if you're doing it on Monday night, I work. So
Monday night
I work pretty much work every other Monday. So
yeah, Monday night is the weekly show time. We should have the crew back. We'll have a lot
Usually.
more practice.
Yeah, and then Buckets is going to be on Thursday. I'm pretty sure
It should be
Wednesday.
Thursday. It should be Thursday.
Yeah.
Yep. So check that out. If you did not watch Buckets today, we did talk a little bit about basketball, but mostly it was random.
It was the
other
inside
stuff.
joke show. I revealed my box of memorabilia, which I found a few things that were quite interesting, including an article from the student newspaper that they wrote about me and my two friends getting kicked out of a basketball game. Matt and Vish did an apple juice taste test.
Yeah,
I'm generally drinking apple juice on the show.
This is the stuff. Like, this is what you got to get. Get the Simply Apple.
Martinelli's and Simply Apple were the two favorites.
Their orange juice
followed
is
by
good
Mott's.
too.
This is the stuff right here. Get the Pure Press one. It tastes like apples. It is actually very good. And do not under any circumstances buy the Tropicana.
Tropicana is terrible.
That is disgusting.
And then Matt also showed off some of his trophies from his sports days. But I think the box of crap portion of it was exciting.
No, the apple juice is not anywhere near all gone. I have like so much apple. I'm going to be drinking. I mean, to be honest, I might just pour the Tropicana out. I can't drink that, but the rest of it, it was also the small bottle. It was also the small bottle. So like, there's no point in drinking.
Honestly, if it's the same Tropicana apple juice that they have at my job, it's terrible. It's so much sugar. It tastes like you're drinking.
I don't even. It tastes terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Sorry, Tropicana. I'm still pro Mott's though.
Yeah, I tried the Simply Apple stuff, man. I don't know if you'll go back. It's very different. It's very because the other four, because again, it's like a pressed. You can even tell the color is different. Yeah. So
Matt and Vish both had Mott's as their number 2.
Yeah.
So, DJ, are you an apple juice fan?
I feel like Matt.
Orange juice. I gotta say, orange juice. I'm more of an orange juice. No pulp. I don't like the pulp.
That's blasphemy. Orange juice with pulp is amazing.
I
love pulp.
I feel like if I drink orange juice, I need to have water after because I feel like all sticky.
I can't drink it because it's too acidic. But when I used to drink orange juice, Cracker Barrel orange juice, so good. They have just enough amount of pulp in it.
Cracker Barrel and Chick-fil-A, really. You're really putting together a cultural cornerstone here.
Have you ever had the biscuits from Cracker Barrel?
I have. Look at me. You think I'd go into a Cracker Barrel? They'll call me Osama when I walk in the door. What are we talking about here? I can't go to a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, listen, Cracker Barrel is a pastime because that was our go-to stop when we would do our Disney trips when I was a kid, driving up from Broward to Orlando. We'd always stop at the Fort Pierce Cracker Barrel, so it's kind of nostalgic for me.
Can't go to a Cracker Barrel? Seriously? People that look like me don't go into places called Cracker anything.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, Vish.
He's not.
It's
not.
The reality.
Wrong.
It's the reality.
I may have to pull a quote from this show for next week's quote of the week.
Well then, how's that? Well, there was plenty of stuff in buckets you'll be able to find a quote for.
Yeah, I don't know when I'll have to go back and watch that. That was an interesting one. So.
Yeah, but if you're not following Melissa on Twitter, she's going to tweet out that article about her getting thrown out.
Oh yeah, I will. Tweet
it's an actual. It's old school newspaper clipping that was most definitely not a violation of rights, but.
I mean, it's just a good headline.
It's a hilarious. It's a hilarious take.
The headline grabs your attention.
Yeah, 100%.
I honestly and I said it on the show earlier. I can't believe I saved this. I don't even remember it reading it the first time. So when I saw it, I was like, "What is this?" But there was an article written about me and my two friends getting ejected from a basketball game. So
and I don't. You're not named in it, are you?
No, it's not named. It just says three. It just says a group of students.
I think it's a student newspaper. I don't think he knew who. He didn't know that which of the three officials. Melissa did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't interviewed for this.
Yeah, she wasn't interviewed, but it does corroborate her story there.
It's proof that it actually happened.
It provides proof it provides proof of the story that no one was questioning the validity of. That's what it does.
I'm sure there was people questioning the validity of it, but
why would you make?
I like how he couldn't name the ref.
Well, because he's probably sitting on the press row or whatever, and he's just like one of the three refs.
It was Sean Hull.
What game was it? It was UNC, right?
Miami Hurricanes versus UNC basketball game in. Is there a date to this article? No. It was in 2008. One of the time we played UNC in 2008. I don't know the exact date. When I posted about it on my Facebook status back then. So when it pops up in my memories next year, I'll be sure to mention it on the pod.
Yeah. So just so you're aware, during the season, we are going to talk about basketball.
Yeah. Right now, we're just searching for things.
So when it pops up on your feed, I'm not going to carve out 30 minutes for you to talk about getting thrown out of this game again. It's going to be in the middle.
No, it's literally going to be like 2 minutes. Like, oh, hey, this is the anniversary. Blah blah blah. But yeah, right. We've run out of things to talk about on Buckets Pod. Canes today, that's great. I was 21 years old when this happened. So
what was it? 2008?
2008. Yeah.
I was, let's see.
15 years ago.
15 years ago. I was 13. So
he's about the same age as Matt, I think. So.
Yeah, no, I am the
Fish, you are the old man on this pod.
I am absolutely not. Blue exists, despite you trying to kill him off with your "We Miss Blue" as if he's
currently you are the old man on this pod, and you're older than Canes today's father.
Yeah, because he's 15.
Ao's screen into the end of the pod. I know where Ao was. And why he missed most of this pod.
Well, why don't you do some more free advertising for AO show while you're on here instead of
it wasn't his show today. Canes was on
telling people to go back on his feed to get the story of how.
I don't think I told the story of how I got kicked out of the game on his show though.
I don't know. You said maybe you should go check his shows, or you can watch our show.
I told it on our show. I told it on Coop's show, and I told it on Locked On Canes.
Yeah. So how about you
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
How about you have them, refer back to our show, because you'll get to know more about her, how she became a Canes basketball fan, why she went to Miami, all that stuff.
Yeah. Go check out the Meet Melissa pod.
Yeah, it's down on this feed. All right, I think we've exhausted. I've been talking to you for 3.5 hours now, Melissa. I think it's enough.
We've been on air since 7 o'clock. Since 7 o'clock. As if he doesn't put up with me enough in our group text.
Well, now I get to cut this up into podcast episodes. So
you have to do both.
Yeah, I know I have to do both.
So that's 3.5 hours of me.
I fast forward. So
1 hour and 14 minutes of me. Aren't you lucky, Vish?
We can never get enough of you, though, DJ.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad somebody
Thanks
thinks that.
today. We appreciate your view.
Yeah, no, actually,
thank you.
he's the real MVP. He sat through 3.5 hours. I don't know how we did this.
He took a 7-minute break to eat dinner really quickly during the Buckets pod, and then other than that, he's been with us the whole time.
This is why we do it right here, because of the loyal fans like Canes today. Thank you, Canes. Appreciate you. And,
hey, thanks for showing up at the end, as always. Fashionably late.
Yeah, once football season gets going, then we'll really have some stuff to talk about coming up soon.
Hopefully it's
wait till football and basketball are both in season. Then it's going to be insane.
It's going to be crazy.
Vish is going to want to kill me.
It's going to be like a nightly show for me because we do men's and women's, and we're going to do pre and post.
Ooh, Canes today had lasagna. What up?
Ooh, okay. I love lasagna.
Who doesn't?
All right, I think it's enough.
Blue, Jazz, we missed you tonight. Jazz, I hope you feel better.
Yeah, we'll be back Monday, 8:30 with the football show, and then next Thursday at 7.
Thursday for Buckets.
Thursday at 7, Buckets. Maybe we'll get some news out of Europe, and we'll be able to talk some hoops.
Or maybe we'll get a guest on. We got to talk to Matt.
One of his guys.
One of his guys. Check out my Twitter. I'm going to post this article.
Yeah, she's going to post that article, and we can argue about the constitutionality of getting thrown out of an arena where the ticket says we can throw you out.
I'll tag you.
I just want to find this guy, Anthony Vega. If you're out there, you wrote this thing 15 years ago. Was this 15? This was 15 years ago. That game was
2008.
That was your senior year? Okay, so 15 years ago, you wrote this article. Where are you now? We will bring you on Buckets to talk about it.
Does anybody know this man?
We want to talk about it. We want to discuss if you still stand by this being a violation of rights versus her violating the terms of service of the ticket that she used to get in, which feels more like what happened there.
They do make an announcement. The ACC promotes good sportsmanship. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, no, you're 100. If you ever flip your ticket over and read all the crap, they can throw you out for whatever reason they want. There was no.
I was just waving. We weren't even cussing. We weren't yelling things. We were literally just waving money.
So, depending on the interpretation, however sarcastic
that was during
you were
the Tim
being,
Donaghy scandal.
You were accusing the refs of taking money in order to slant the game in UNC's favor with a visible gesture, which is almost worse than yelling it because you don't pick up the audio like on TV and stuff, but you certainly can see someone waving dollars.
Well, I don't know. Back in the day, it was UNC though, so there was people there. I was gonna say back in the day there weren't that many people at games, but it was UNC, so people showed up for that.
Wait, this is Anthony Vega, the dude that's. Wait,
hey, you actually know him?
We got to make sure it's the right one.
Right? Like, if you actually know him, when I post the article,
we will definitely bring him on Buckets. Like, if he actually, we got to talk about this.
He probably won't even remember.
There's no way he remembers writing this thing.
Because he was a sophomore at the time that he wrote this article, so. But
yeah, there's no way he remembers.
I appreciate that he gave us some press. That was actually pretty funny. So.
And a good
anyway.
Someone had to stand up for the clear civil rights violation.
My constitutional rights. There we go.
All right, everyone.
All right, y'all.
Yeah, check us out next week. 8:30 Monday is Six Ring Canes. Thursday at 7 for Buckets. Next Thursday, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
The Six Ring Cane Show. Yeah. The Six Ring Cane Show. Yeah. The Six Rings Cane Show. You know.